Hey everyone, welcome to another news breakdown straight from 2009 here on Shodo-Pop. Alright, as always, I'm your host Frozen Stratos, and today, well, it's just one of those days where I get to sit here in front of the camera and tell you that Shodo is unpredictable. You cannot predict Shodo. And every time I say it, I feel like it's about to get watered down by something later on down the line. But I don't know, Shodo always just finds a way to impress us and surprise us at every turn. And this time, it came, straight from the Kamen Rider Kanji Toy blog itself. So there are no leaks, nothing. This is just straight from them, and you've already seen what it is. It is Decade Complete. And then we're also going to be talking about some Gaim stuff. But yeah, let's talk about just Decade Complete here as a Shodo figure. And I do mean a Shodo figure, because this is not a Shodo Chronicle figure. This is just a regular Shodo thing. Because this is in the main line. This is part of Saber's line. This is part of Book 5. And I can't believe it. We'll talk about it in a bit as to like how this sort of just ended up in the main line. But for now, let's talk about a few of the accessories and things that they just decided to include for this Decade release. First off, we have a K-Touch holding hand and a different type of posed hand. This is actually the, K-Touch selection hand, or maybe just lazy pointing hand, and it is slightly different than the open hand that they are giving you. And it's incredible that they wanted to just give you this option. They did not have to do it. I mean, they did not have to make Decade Complete, but they did not have to make this hand, and they did it anyway, which is just how Shodo do all the time. Anyway, that's not all you're getting. I'm not getting obsessed over just some of these hands. Let's take a look at this. This is an open Deca driver. So it's, to slide it out, and when Decade puts the K-Touch in the center, he has to open the belt. Or it could be for when you are throwing in a different card and doing a final form ride, or a form ride or something. Common ride? Common ride. Something ride into a different rider. Anyway, that's not all though, because like I said, you have to swap the K-Touch in at some point, and to do that, well, you're gonna have to take out that Deca driver core, and you just have an empty Deca driver, which is insane. We didn't need it, and Shodo was just like, hey, here you go. By the way, DX toys don't do this. Only Shodo I mean, the actual DX toy did it, but I meant action figures. DX action figures don't do it. But Shodo did it, and it's in the main line at a retail price. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. So you can do this. That's not the only sort of accessory inclusion it comes with, because you actually have an extra sticker to put onto the open Deca driver, so you can put this on your Neo Decade, well, not Neo Decade, it's Decade with the Neo Deca driver, and this is an upgrade piece for a figure that was released 2 to 3 years ago. Let that sink in. They are still updating this guy. It's really weird to say that Decade is Deca driver compatible, because we've said that for a lot of other figures, but this one is specifically Deca driver compatible, except the open version. Insane. Anyway, this is really neat. But hey, let's take a look at the shoulders and actual, chest of this figure. So we're diving a little bit more into the figure itself, because there are some incredible stickers here at play on the chest, and they wanted to say, hey, we made sure to get these as detailed as possible. And you can see it. You can pretty much read Kuga, Agito, Ryuki, Fai's, Blade, like right on there. The intricate little symbols that they come in for each of their shows. The barcodes on the side, the 2 different columns of the barcodes are visible and accurate. I cannot fathom, like, that they were able to make this happen. It's just incredible. But that's not it for these chest stickers, because that is where I feel like the biggest part of this thing comes into play, because once again, you go to select a different rider in your K-Touch, and suddenly you have their final form selected, and you've summoned your... I think this is final form, right? I don't remember. This is... They give you stickers to recreate final form summons, and it is incredible. Every single one. Everything that you will need. They gave you one for Den-O, and this is... I believe this is liner form, the liner form version. I mean, there's really not any other version that this would have come in, but they gave you the liner form, final form one for Den-O to pair with him, and then they gave you a D-End one as well. On top of that, they even gave you ones that didn't exist before, like Rising Kuga. No, this is Kuga, Ultimate Kuga. Right. So this is Ultimate Kuga. This never happened before, to my knowledge, and I think they noted as such in the blog itself. But this didn't show up in the show. They just give you all of them, and we'll see that later. Another thing to take note of here is that technically you can recreate Decade's attack ride. This is his final form ride, where he turns into the belt and then becomes large. Like, you're just basically placing your Decade Complete into a cityscape, but it does pair well with this blue man who is holding a sign. Anyway, yeah, you can technically do that, and I'm glad that they threw that in there as, you know, just, oh, it's technically a feature. I love it. I love it. Anyway, like I was saying, we also have more of these chest plate changes, because here is the, and I believe this is the super complete final form of Decade. Let's see, this is the one that came from the 2010 movie with Double. This is the strongest complete form. And there are 3 different versions, actually, of the strongest complete form. But they went with this one. This one specifically does not have liner form, and it does not have Ultimate Kuga. This has Cho Climax form and Rising Ultimate Kuga. They are, you know, on the center part of the chest, which this is technically the only strongest complete form that they give you, but also it pairs well with these guys. But here's everything that it comes with, and like I was saying before, you have the sticker sheet that gives you the liner form and the ultimate form. So the 2 ones that you would swap in to make the different versions of the strongest complete form are present. So you are going to have to do a little bit of sticker surgery to get all 3 forms, but you are able to do it. The blog does not note that at all, but I feel like it's a nudge nudge wink wink situation where, like, hey, we gave you one of the forms. We have not explicitly given you the 2 other forms of strongest complete, but you are able to make it yourself. But we're not going to say it, but you can do it. It is possible. So all in all, that's not the right image. So all in all, you are getting, I believe, 13 official ones out of this, but you can dial that all the way up to 15 potential different versions of Decade, of Complete Decade, or Strongest Complete Decade. Whichever Decade you want to make, you can make about 15 of these. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. They didn't have to. And like I said, some of these didn't exist and they decided to give it to you. And while we're taking a look at this is another thing the blog did not note, but take a look at the border around each of the cards. Most times, it is just supposed to be a silver foil, but it seems to me that they looked at the regular silver foil and were like, that's not quite right. That's not quite close enough to the silver that we wanted. And they added this extra sheen to the silver of the sticker that is already present, and made it slightly different to be more accurate. I assume. Once again, this is reading between the lines, but it is something that Shodo would do, and they just did it for these. Like, they put so much work into these, and then they did more. So that's incredible. Anyway, I believe that's it for this. But hey, that's not it for the extra inclusions. If you see here, there is, I believe this is called the Gaga bracelet, and this is an attack ride that he did with Amazon. And also, he had the Fi's getup on as well. But they just decided to give this to us. They made this. And I still can't believe it. They actually went out of their way to make a completely new mold for this, because the original arm would not be able to function the same with that inclusion. If you notice, the orientation of the elbow is swapped. The initial version, like the regular version on the left, the sort of bicep, it connects to the elbow joint differently on the right side. But they had to swap that orientation to the left side because the Gaga bracelet could not be molded correctly without something being there. So they had to swap that whole thing around. They remolded it. They went out of their way, above and beyond. I can't believe it. They're still trying to find ways to surprise us. And speaking of surprises, maybe one of the biggest ones that came out of this blog for me was this next one. We are getting a Shodo Recadaizanto. It's wild. I cannot believe this. I've said that a lot today, within the last 10 minutes, 12 minutes, but I still can't believe this. This is a Sentai thing showing up here in Shodo. And it is obviously the longest sword, the longest weapon that Shodo has ever created to date. And it is so accurate. Also, when they were producing this item, they sent it over to they sent it over to their manufacturing factory, Mega House, right? And they said, hey, yeah, could you make this for us? And they tweaked it, they put it together, and when they sent the sample, they said, hey, we made it, but then also, we made the heat and disc removable just in case, which I'm not quite sure what the just in case would be, just because this part is not accurate to anything. I don't know why, unless you wanted to have it free spinning or something, like shave down the peg a little bit and have it spin. I don't know. Either way, it is removable, and it's just wow. So apparently for this, to make this happen just at all, they had to go through to multiple departments to get approval for this, because obviously this is a Sentai item and they could not do it on their own. Eventually, they got to the process, they went through the process and said, hey, yeah, you can do this. We are going to let you do this, except you are going to need to put the Shinkenger logo on the box. That is our only stipulation. And then G-Man shot back with, oh, wasn't that a reward? Isn't that a good thing? And they were probably just going to do it anyway. So here we are in 2021. This releases next month. Next month? May. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. It'll be right in the description. But when this releases, we will have a Shodo box that not only has Saber, but Decade, and then also just the Shinkenger logo. Blown away. I'm running out of words to express my surprise and my pure joy for this. because this is amazing. I don't understand it, but they gave it to us. This is wonderful. He went around and talked to everybody and told them, like, hey, this is important, and this is integral for this figure, and also the fans would really like it. And you know what? We really do, and I really appreciate it. Shodo goes above and beyond. Anyway, this looks fantastic, and he pairs really well with this very old HDM Shinkenger 2009 figure. This is not Shodo. This is not a recent thing. I believe this is either an old Gashapon or Candy Toy thing. And for this figure, he did say, yeah, for this shoot, I asked someone to dig this out of storage to make this happen, and it was well worth it. Because when I saw this, I was immediately like, oh, are they doing Shodo Shinkenger? No, this is just an old thing. But either way, very excited to see Takeru just rolling around, hanging out. Anyway, that is it for, I guess, this portion of the blog. To end off, let's take a look at the wave layout, because our main figure is going to be coming with the sword and his gun. On top of that, he will be coming in 2 different bodies. So this is a definite remold from the older version, if not a completely new one, because the chest did not separate this way before. And if you'll note, it separates in such a way that you can potentially swap in a Decade Complete 21 version of this figure just onto that body. It is, you are technically able to do that if they ever make that armor, which they definitely should. I still don't like the look of it, but I still want it, So yeah, this is all coming out in Book 5, as well as all of those other stickers to turn your Decade into whatever the heck you want. And yeah, I think I was right. This does come out next month in February. But Book 6 is the one that comes with all the extra accessories. I'm not sure why it wasn't in the other wave, unless this is going to... Book 6 might be coming with Decade Complete 21 version. Either way, I'm excited. I'm so excited. So much so that it eclipsed anything that came out about Kamen Rider Gaim 2. Chronicle Gaim 2, because we had this information before. We didn't really learn too many new things, so I will go through this quickly. After this, though, there are some really amazing updates that we will be talking about. So, first up, we have Gaim here, and they wanted to note that they did make the head different. The crest is silver and the mouth plate is black, because this is slightly different. Even though it is the same mold, this is colored slightly different for the Jimber form. On top of that, we have the chest, and it's done up in plenty of silver, and all those stickers are there for the different versions, different Jimber versions. This one is lemon, obviously. Also, we got to look at the back and sides of him, so we know that the shoulder armor is going to be stickered up pretty heavily, but it all sort of makes sense. Anyway, on top of that, we have our very first looks at the Sonic Arrow, and also the other side of the Sonic Arrow, because sometimes Shodo just sort of doesn't detail the other side of weapons, and this one is fully detailed. So, mad props for that. And also, once again, we have the drawn back version that can be held with the new open hands. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. These hands look really good. Here it is with the drawn back stuff. I really appreciate the look of this. The subtle tilt to the hand really gives you a good slashing motion. Anyway, that is it for Gaim. Outside of him coming with the rest of the other flavors of Jimber Gaim, we have the melon one that never existed. At all. The only time it existed was when Zangetsu used it, and this is technically not accurate to that because it has Gaim's logo on it, and it should have Zangetsu's logo if it were him using it, but for some reason, just Gaim has this now, and he's had it in a lot of other figures anyway. It's just another one of those that are like, yeah, I guess we'll give it to you. And it was just a sticker replacement. Either way, that is not the only figure they showed off, in hand this week. They also showed off Baron. And Baron, I gotta say, looks a lot better than Jimber Lemon right now. Just because, like, here is the back of him. I love the way the stickers look. Stickers are just a part of Shodo, and I feel like they really balanced it well. Here's the front once again. Let's take a look at the head, because we still have those extra, as they call them, soda grains in the eyes. They made sure to get that across, so it isn't just, a flat redo of the existing yellow ones. These are new. It also has the extra grains in the lemon armor itself, which is something they really wanted to get across. Here is the back of the head. They did not note this in the blog, but the back of the head is fully painted, and I'm just so surprised that they happened to do that. Like, that's really cool. They didn't have to. Part of this could be a sticker, but they didn't. It's a curved piece, and it must have been like, oh, this is going to be too complicated. Let's just make this a sticker. Either way, the back of the figure is painted. Just plain and simple. And that's really cool. Anyway, let's talk about one of my favorite aspects, the cape. And I did not realize this, I did not recognize this until Malunis, my co-host on the Soda Pop podcast, told this to me, but it does seem like there is a bit of a rainbowy pattern to it. It might just be the lighting that they used for this and the way it shined onto it, but it does look neat. What I am really happy about, though, is this articulation here with the cape. Basically, this is using my favorite cape mounting situation that they have ever done. My favorite candy toy cape to this day has been Kiwami? Yeah. Kiwami Gaim from the initial Kamen Rider Gaim candy toy line. He had a cape that pegged into the back, but also, hinged upward and could move side to side. And this replicates that mounting point to a T, and I'm happy for it. Like, it gives you some really nice fluid motion with effectively a stiff cape. So I'm really appreciative of this. Anyway, for the rest of this, he has the same upgrades as Gaim does. He has the Sonic Arrow, the pulled back version, and the holding hand for that. Here's the pulled back version. Outside of that, that is it for Gaim. Now let's throw it back to G, because he's got an important message for us. Fill out the surveys. It is linked in the description down below. Fill them out. They are important. How important? Well, I will tell you right now. Because due to fan outcry, they aren't 100% that they don't 100% know that they can do this yet. But because of the survey, they are indeed thinking about making the extra heads. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we have forms. I believe this is Dragon Peter Fantasista that are only going to ever exist as sticker detail for the belts and not an accurate head. Due to fan outcry, they are considering making these. Now, they cannot, like I said, 100% confirm that they are able to do this. They do have to, check with higher-ups and stuff to make sure that this is something they're able to do. But they are only working on it because the fans wanted it. Because we went into the surveys and asked for these. And they recognized that it was important to us. So fill out those surveys. And Peter Fantasista, this is not the only one that they showed off today. Because, as you remember, we have... the show, the initial version of Saber that showed off the Three Little Pigs ride book, well, it was supposed to have Eagle in the center, and it never did when it got released. there were a couple things wrong with it. It did not have eagle in the center. It was just blank. And then also, it was not the correct house as a shield on the arm. So what they are doing is they are absolutely making a model for this. And they're, doing their best to find a way to release this if they can. Like I said, if they can. They don't know yet. This is not 100% confirmed. They're just telling us that they are working on it. And on top of that, they said, hey, yeah, we recognize that not all versions of the houses are out on the market yet. We get that. We recognize that. That is not something that is, that they are deliberating. They know that they are doing it. You just have to be a little bit patient. So these are coming. Like the different types of houses for this arm are coming. For the Three Little Pigs are coming. And I believe that is the last of the updates. So like I said, fill out the surveys because they do matter and they are important. They're doing this. They're making, or they are attempting to make them. All of this is under consideration because we fill out those surveys. So they are definitely important. Anyway, I believe that was it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I know that was a long one. I know this is also a very late video. So please, 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 if you can, share this around with your friends. And yeah, thanks once again for watching. Tell me in the comments down below what you're most excited for. Is it the Decade Complete? Is it the idea that we might get a Decade Complete 21? It's not confirmed. I didn't, this is me speculating. Or are you at all blown away by that end part where the surveys just got us consideration for those different heads? I personally didn't want it, but a lot of my friends did. Josh and Malunis specifically, and I believe a lot of people in the Kamen Rider Candy Toy or in the Candy Toy Corner Discord, which is linked in the description, which is a fun place to hang out with us and get some Soto Pop updates. Anyway, while you're down there, there are still links in the description down below to how you can help support the Black Lives Matter movement by donating money, signing petitions, and watching videos. On top of that, there are links in there to where you can get some Zenkaiger merch. I know, show's coming up soon, so I decided to make these things for you to buy if you are excited for Zenkaiger and want to rep that excitement, that spirit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Keep it. Oh no! Where's my progress key? Hell yeah. Whew, had me sweating for a bit. This episode came out long. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you made it this far, I don't know, type in something. Just say the word something, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to say here. Anyway, bye.